Call to order the Plan Commission meeting Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. City of Franklin, please take the roll.
Mayor Nelson,
Here.
Commissioner Hogan is excused. Commissioner Shaga,
Here.
Commissioner Haley,
Here.
City Engineer Morrow,
Here.
Alderwoman Day,
Here.
Commissioner Leon.
Here. Thank you. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item B, approval of the minutes, approval of the regular meeting minutes of November 9th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
Move to pass.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all is in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. We're going into item C. Prior to us starting this part, if I could have somebody make a motion to suspend the rules. There's a gentleman that could not make the item on D. David number 2 to speak for some reasons, so we're looking for someone to suspend to give this gentleman 3 minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules so the gentleman can speak about item D1, you said?
D2.
D2.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Good evening.
For this opportunity. Once again, I was not able to attend the meeting.
Could you please just state slowly, right into the microphone like it's karaoke night, your name and address, please,
My
sir?
name is John Ross. I live at 7890 West Park Circle Way North in the beautiful city of Franklin.
Thank you.
Once again, I was not able to attend the meeting on 11/27 due to some health issues. And I've looked at all the drawings that were put together and I got a copy of all of them. And they're very confusing to me. My real concern is my home, the back of my home faces directly where the development is supposed to be going. I guess I have some questions of what this storage unit is going to look like. What is the actual size of it going to be? And how is it going to affect my property value? When I bought the house, one of the reasons I bought the condo, 2 baseball diamonds were behind me. It was really great. I could go watch baseball at night if I wanted to. But once again, my concern is for what this building is going to look like and what it's going to do to property values for most of us on Park Circle Way, at least everybody that faces the DPW yard. And I guess I'd like to have somebody explain to me and the residents there a little bit better of exactly what it's going to look like. Also, in the minutes from that DPW meeting on the 27th, I noticed that there's no funding for this storage unit in 2024. So I think that gives us some time, at least to bring the residents in, and I'd be more than happy to coordinate the residents from Park Circle Way to bring everybody in that's affected by this change, and just so we can get a better idea what's happening there. Because at the DPW meeting on the 27th, I believe there's 3 people there, so not quite a large amount of people.
Now, before I ask the city engineer to answer your questions, if you think it's going to take too long, and we should do it offline or tomorrow, because we have an agenda
I
which
understand
is
that.
thick.
So really quick, in our packet tonight is a picture of what the building would look like. I guess I'd like to sit down and talk to you. I'm actually out tomorrow, but if you want to make an appointment for Monday or Tuesday, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and walk through
Okay,
everything.
who do I call, and or you got a card or something?
Get your card. Maybe I won't. Let me write on something. Keep something right on.
I'll just call your office in and make an appointment.
Yeah, call the engineering office, 414-425-7510. And my name's Glenn. Just make it.
Glenn,
Glen. Just have him make an appointment with me.
I will do that.
Thank you.
And thanks, Mr. Hofer, for allowing, setting this time up for me. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Motion to go back to regular order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Back to regular order business. Item C, public hearing, business matters. The nature of this one, it's Conway area exception request for, this is number 1, C1, request for lot coverage increase to allow for a detached garage upon property located at 11933 West Oakwood Drive. Tax key number 749-0055-00. This would be on Regulo.
So, city staff initiated the review of this application, and then it was reassigned to NDR Consulting. So I will yield to Nick Johnson from NDR Consulting that will provide the presentation of the application.
Thank you.
Thanks, Regulo. Do you want me to share my screen with the presentation then too, or do you want to handle that on your end?
I can,
Okay,
so let me know when you need to advance the slide.
okay, perfect. Do you have it up, Regulo? Oh, there
you
we
see
go.
it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, I see it now. Perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you all again. Again, my name is Nick Johnson with MD Roffers Consulting. So on the agenda tonight is an area exception to allow for increased lot coverage for the
Hey, sir?
installation of a.
Excuse
Yeah.
me. Thank
Can you hear me?
We can't hear up here with that. Thank you. Thanks, Nick. Go
Okay,
ahead.
great. Great. So on the agenda tonight is an area exception to allow for increased lot coverage for the installation of a detached garage by Tom Conway. You should all have the staff report included in tonight's packet, which was jointly prepared by City Planning Department staff and the consultant regarding this area exception. So this first slide here that you see on the screen shows the property in question located in the northwestern part of the city at 11933 West Oakwood Drive. Property is zoned R3. If you want to go to the next slide, Regulo.
Sure. Okay.
The second slide shows an aerial image of the property in question, showing an existing shed in the southwest corner of the parcel, which is proposed to be removed with the approval of this area exception and the approval of the proposed detached garage. Next slide, Regulo. This third slide shows the proposed detached garage in the southwest corner of the property, as well as the dimensions of that proposed detached garage and the setbacks from the west, east, and south lot lines. Then the next slide. This is the fourth and final slide, shows a photo from a site visit performed a few months ago in August. You can see the existing shed in the center part of the image, which is located in the backyard and planned for removal, where the proposed detached garage is planned to be located as well. This slide also in the bottom left-hand corner shows the maximum lot coverage calculations that are also included in the staff report. So per UDO table 15-3.0204, the maximum lot coverage is 15% in the R3 suburban single-family resident district in which this property is located. The current lot coverage of the dwelling, attached garage, deck, and detached shed is just over this 15% maximum at 16%. The proposed detached garage would be 720 square feet. With the removal of the existing detached shed and the addition of the proposed detached garage, that would result in a lot coverage of 17.65%. With an approval of an area exception by the Plan Commission and then another approval by the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals for the meeting in 2 weeks on December 20th, the maximum lot coverage may be increased up to 20% over the maximum permitted lot coverage, resulting in a total maximum permitted lot coverage of 18%. So therefore, this request falls within that allowable increase if the area exception is granted. So wrapping things up here, city staff and the consultant recommend approval of this area exception request for the Conway residents to increase the lot coverage to 17.65%, while the maximum lot coverage permitted as of right is 15%. I'd be happy to take any questions or comments at the moment.
All right, members of the commission, any questions? Okay. So now I'm going to open up the hearing. No questions, go to F.
Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7, 2023, at the Common Council Chambers at the Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. Applicant, Conway Thomas, C, property owner. Subject property, 11933 West Oakwood Drive, tax key number 74900550000. The proposal. Per Section 1510.0209, area exceptions may be granted to increase the maximum lot coverage by no more than 20%. Section 1510.0209G of the Unified Development Ordinance specifically lists the standards to be reviewed to grant or deny an area exception, which the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning and Building Appeals will use to consider the request. The application requests an area exception to allow for a lot coverage of 17.65% for the installation of a detached garage exceeding the R3 maximum lot coverage standard of 15%. The area of the subject property is 23,958 square feet. The dwelling, attached garage, deck, and detached shed cover approximately 3,718 square feet. The proposed detached garage will be 720 square feet. The detached shed is planned for removal. The public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements of Section 6223(7)(e) of the Wisconsin Statutes and Division 1510.0206 of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. The legal description of the subject property and area exception requests are available and open for inspection by the public in the office of the Department of City Development at Franklin City Hall.
Okay, at this time, we'll open a public hearing. Any citizen wishing to speak on this matter, please approach the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record, and you've got up to 3 minutes to speak. Going once, going twice. We will close citizen comment period on that. The public hearing is now closed. Any other comments now at this point from the commission or staff? Is there a motion? Could you read the motion, please?
A motion to recommend approval of an area exception to allow for a lot coverage of 17.65% for the installation of a detached garage exceeding the R3 maximum lot coverage standard of 15% for property located at 11933 West Oakwood Drive.
We have we've got a first and a second. Any further comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Going on
Thank
this-
you, Nick.
what's
Thank
that?
you. Have a good night, everyone.
Oh. Bye, Nick. C2. Master Helco Special Use Amendment Miscellaneous Application, request for approval of a special use amendment and miscellaneous application to allow for a fence. I don't want to misspend, and distributor, wholesaler and distributor with indoor and outdoor storage of inventory, light fabrication of gates and office spaces upon property located at 7407 South 27th Street, tax key 761-9994-006. Now we're on B. Who's up? Nick, you got this? Okay, Nick.
So as you mentioned, it's a application for a special use amendment. This is also related to item D1, which is a site plan amendment. There is a proposal to for a fence and wholesale and distributor that would have indoor and outdoor storage, and they also do light fabrication of gates. Site changes would include a new parking lot in front of the building. It has 27 stalls. They're also adding some landscaping, 18 deciduous trees, 8 evergreens, and 127 shrubs. The parking lot will be lit, so they have parking lot lighting, building lighting, and then they'll also have building lighting on the detached sheds or accessory buildings west of the main building. And then they're also adding on crushed gravel and concrete areas to the west for the outdoor storage use. And then in the, would be the southwest corner, they have a stormwater management pond. The applicant did provide a letter indicating that there are not protected natural resources existing on site. They're meeting before district development standards. And if the special use moves forward, staff does have 2 recommendations for that. That the outdoor storage would be limited to the west side of the principal building and kept in a orderly manner as determined by the zoning administrator or plan commission, and that overnight parking of commercial vehicles would have to also be within that fenced-in area to the west of the building. For the site plan, for that item, we're recommending final grading, erosion control, and stormwater management plans be approved by engineering, and that all parking spaces be a minimum of 9 feet wide and 180 square feet.
Surprisingly, I know that tune. Mr. Fuchs, are you continuing?
That is all for this project, unless there's questions, and the applicant is here as well to answer any questions.
Right, is the applicants here? And are they wishing to make any statements at this time? You the applicant, sir?
Yes, sir. Any further comments?
Okay. Well, we might. Do you mind coming up here and? I'm just following our decor in order here, whether there is or isn't. It'd be great. So, if you don't mind, please state your name and address for the record.
Luke Sabald, project manager with Keller
You
Incorporated.
can use the business address.
Don't even know my address. It's in Germantown, Goldendale Road.
It's probably west something, south something, one of those weird things.
Yep.
Okay. At this point, commission members, Mr. Leone.
Mayor, I'm looking at the minutes from the 9th, and we moved to continue the public hearing. So do we need to go right back into the public hearing now, or should we do whatever questions first? And I guess that question's to the city attorney.
I didn't even recall that this was a carryover.
Yeah, it was C1
All
on
right.
November 9th. So can we ask questions of the applicant now, or do we need to go right back into the public hearing?
Ask questions.
You can do this.
We'll ask questions, so if you'd like to start, Mr. Leone.
That was my question, just
Excellent question.
we had to go to that first.
Alderwoman Day.
I have a few questions, some for staff and probably some for the applicant. So in your recommended conditions for approval for the special use, we talk about being limited to the fenced-in concrete and gravel area. Are we going to put any specifications in on the type of fence, the height of the fence? I'm looking at, this is my district, I'm looking at the buildings that are on, or the businesses that are on either side of this particular property. A higher-end apartment complex on one side, and the other side is the Northwestern Mutual building. I believe those are the corporate offices that would face into here. So just trying to figure out what those individuals will be looking at from their windows, if the fencing can be sort of, opaque or something so that they can't see in, would be my first question, and how tall that would be. My second question is about the lights that are going to be back in the storage area. Are those going to be on all night? Again, light pollution for the apartments that are over there. What are the hours? How is the light going to be facing down so that the apartments that face directly into that are not bothered by the lights? And then my third question is, in a lot of these, we get the general standards for special use document with all the questions and answers. And I didn't see that in my packet. I don't remember if that was in the one from the last meeting. So I didn't go back, so I apologize if that was in there. But one of the questions that is asked is about alternative locations. And I was curious if there were other locations that the applicant had looked into, because again, in going by the businesses that are on either side of this and knowing the type of business that this is, while I would love for it to come to Franklin, seems it would be more suited for perhaps the industrial or the business park.
Did you get all that?
Yeah, so on the fencing question, first question, there is fencing existing in that storage area currently. Master Helco would keep the existing fencing on the north, south, and west portions of the parcel. They would replace the gate entrance on the east, the northeast side of the storage area with decorative fencing. The existing fencing is, I would assume, to be around 6 feet chain link fence.
Chain link.
As far as lighting is concerned, we are provide a photometric plan that is to the city standard. The lighting would be on during business hours only. There would be 1 or 2 times a year that it would be on past business hours for inventory purposes. Typical business hours, I believe, are 7:30 to 4:30. And then on those 2 to 3 inventory days, I believe they'd keep them on till 7 p.m.
Would you-
Obviously, dependent on time of year and
What are the hours of delivery of supplies coming in? Would it be during normal business
during normal
hours, or would it be
hours, that's 7:30
evening
to
or
4:30.
morning? Okay.
Correct.
And then the last
As
question was,
far as alternative locations, I've been working with Master Helco on a location search since December of 20. And this is a location that became readily available. It's already used in a similar fashion with plaque construction, with light fabrication in the building, as well as outdoor storage. So we're not changing the use significantly in any way. Again, it's been difficult to find a building that would meet Master Health needs. This is a building that they found that both meets their geographic needs and use needs. And again, we aren't changing the use in any significant way from what it's currently being used as.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Morrow?
Question and a comment, question for staff. Under site plan, the first bullet point, final grading, erosion control, and stormwater management plans shall be approved by engineering department prior to any land disturbance activities, period. I don't see it spelled out specifically in the now therefore whereases, but I assume, unless you just intend for the, under number 3, just local government requirements?
In the site plan, you're looking at the resolutions?
Correct.
In the site plan resolution, condition number 4 is that same language.
Gotcha. Just that. And then, yeah, just an observation that I think we found that current site conditions were over, as far as storage was over what was previously approved, so this will clean up a lot of that previous issues.
It's a good thing.
Yep.
Any comments from commission? Okay, thank you. So now we'll move into the public hearing, the continuation. So if anybody here would wish to speak on this item, please approach the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record. Once, twice, we're going to close it. Public hearing is now officially closed. Is there any no further discussion? Is there a motion on this?
City attorney's got some.
Oh, Mr. City Attorney?
With regard to the assistant planner, was there not to be a redraft of the resolution for this?
Did those, yeah, there's been many versions. If the final, which was sent out, it was amended. If it's not to the plan commission, then yes, we need the ones in the packet would be revised.
Because I expected it to be handed out at the meeting.
Yeah, and there might have been some miscommunication between staff then, if it did not make it out and distributed to the plan commission. But it was revised.
Changes are,
I don't, this,
I provided a revised resolution, but that was for another
a
item.
different, yeah, so not this one.
That's for 5, I think.
In this revision, we're just looking for this wasn't the time frame, was it?
Wasn't what?
The time frame?
Is, Mayor?
Mr. Leon.
Oh, sorry. It was so the expiration of the special use resolution would be from the acquisition of title of the subject property. I know that was one change we included in the revision.
That was one of them.
Mayor?
And then I think it was,
Mr. Leon.
somewhere in this draft it referred to a special use amendment, and it's not a special use amendment, it's the granting of a special use. So I said delete amendment, et cetera, but it ended up 2 days ago that you were gonna do the redraft. So a motion to approve this, I would suggest be subject to changes for accuracy within the resolution by planning staff and city attorney.
Correct. The most significant change was just that time frame that would be for when the property was actually acquired. The other changes were technical corrections.
And that they were reviewed with property owner's attorney, per my recollection. Also, another question. With regard to the recommendation on the report, city development staff recommends the plan commission forward the special use application to the common council. I've seen that a number of times recently. And forever, planning department staff recommended whether to approve or conditionally approve or deny a particular application. Why is this changed to recommendation to forward it, recommendation to the plan commission to just forward it to the common council?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Leon.
So the city attorney is raising some questions that bring further questions myself. I recommend tabling this item to the end of the public hearing matters to allow staff time to print and bring the revised draft so that the city attorney's questions are answered. I believe the city engineer might have had some. We have a bunch of agenda items tonight, so I think we have time to move this to the end of the meeting to review that document.
I don't know that it's just a print. I don't think staff has prepared the amendment yet.
The revisions were sent.
Or what?
They were sent to staff and they were sent out.
Were they sent to the members of the commission?
It seems like they did not make it out to the plan commission
Okay, so is it,
as intended, but they were revised. And as the attorney said, it's a change to the first whereas for just deletion of, actually, there was an amendment, and then the expiration language that would be.
yeah, so I understood the timeline piece. I guess my question is, can we table this to the end of public hearing matters so that a member of staff can go get the amendment, the
Final document.
the final document, thank you, for staff? Does that make sense?
Are you able to do that?
Is that possible?
And are you sure it's going to be the last one that was mentioned in the emails on Monday?
There's about 10 drafts,
Well,
but
my
I
point,
did.
as opposed to
send
just
one out.
adopting a resolution.
And it sounds like if you haven't had a chance to review it, I mean, there could be other technical corrections upon that final review,
But
which I don't think is very uncommon with resolutions, that there may be
Okay.
following approvals or meetings that there are technical corrections that get made.
if it's a technical correction and the city attorney feels comfortable with it, we can still make the motion forward. Mr. City Engineer, do you have something on that?
No, I was just going to say, I would feel comfortable with technical and legal corrections. We do that quite often for, if those are the major changes, that sounds pretty from my perspective, nominal, just work out the details.
Sounds great. Regular, want to read the motion?
But I don't think we addressed this city attorney's last comment about recommending the common council.
Oh, the staff report?
Yeah, we need to have a meeting internally, staff, to be consistent on the recommendations if either recommend approval or denial, or this recommend to forward. So we'll need to have an internal staff meeting to make that
Fine,
decision.
because that recommend to forward, I don't recall ever seeing that.
It's new lingo. All right, do you want to read the motion?
A special use amendment and miscellaneous application. A motion to recommend approval of a resolution imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use amendment for a fence warehouse, distribution, and fabrication business use with outdoor storage upon property located at 7407 South 27th Street, Master Halco Inc., applicant, Platt Construction, property owner.
And you added the, excuse me, the technical corrections part?
Subject to technical corrections by city attorney and city development department staff.
Okay. City Attorney?
In terms of the technical realm, one of those was that it becomes effective upon the transfer of the property, as opposed to right upon council. In terms of all the timing.
Right now, we're voting on special use, correct? Special use only?
Alderwoman, you had something on this? Did you?
No, I'm just,
Okay.
So I'll make that motion.
Can I get clarification? We're voting on special use, correct?
Counselor?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
no,
Could we do a roll call, please?
Commissioner Shago.
Aye.
Commissioner Haley.
Aye.
City Engineer Morrow.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
no,
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 no, motion passes.
one absent.
1 absent. Thank you. It'll be all night.
And we have another vote for the miscellaneous application.
This is D1.
No, sorry, the motion was for the special use amendment and the miscellaneous application.
They were together, correct? Yes.
The site plan is separate though, right?
Site plan would be separate.
Okay.
So are we voting on site plan now or waiting until we get into business matters to vote on that?
I believe D1 will be addressed when we get to D1.
Thank you.
So now we're moving on to item number C3. Glander Family Chiropractic Unified Development Ordinance Text Amendment. Request to amend Table 15-3.0603 of the United Development Ordinance, Unified Development Ordinance, to add Standard Industrial Classification Title Number 8041, Offices and Clinics of Chiropractors as a special use in the M1 Limited Industrial District. Regular.
Mr. Fuchs.
Excuse me,
Me
Mr.
as
Fuchs
well.
has this one.
So this is a public hearing. A chiropractic office is looking to amend the M1 Limited Industrial District to locate their office within the M1 district. It's a property at, is it 11217 West Forest Home Avenue? They are, and it's related to then item number 4, which is the special use. But this, the UDO text amendment item is just to place essentially an S in the table, where it's currently not allowed as a use.
Is the applicant here? Hello. Welcome. You may want to come to the podium while department reads official notice.
And I can read the notice if you're ready.
Yes.
Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. The Common Council Chambers at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132, by Elia Glander Family Chiropractic, an application to amend the Unified Development Ordinance text at Table 15-3.0603, Standard Industrial Classification Title Number 8041, Offices and Clinics of Chiropractors to allow for such use as a special use in the M1 Lebanon Industrial District. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements of Section 62.23, Sub 7 D2 of the Wisconsin Statutes and Division 15-9.0200 of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. A map showing the property affected, full legal description, the application, all supporting materials are available for review and may be obtained from the City Council by way of request to the Department of City Development at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132, telephone number 414-425-4024 during normal business hours. Copy of the proposed Unified Development Ordinance text amendment ordinance in draft form is available and open for inspection by the public in the office of the city clerk at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132 during normal business hours. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft ordinance is subject to revisions following public hearing and the further consideration by the Plan Commission and the City of Franklin Common Council.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is a little bit different than the other one we ran before. So, Counselor, at this point, are we having the applicant, according to this, make the presentation, or we open up the public hearing? I know, you keep pointing to the same thing. Do it one more time.
Applicant,
Okay, right.
that's what it says.
Hello, do you have anything for this? I mean, he explained it, but we're just going off of the way here, so.
No, there's the perfect building in
If
the.
you just state your name and address, and you can use a business address
Dr.
too.
Elia Glander with Glander Family Chiropractic. It's 10920 West Forest Home Ave in Hales Corners, Wisconsin. This is right up the road from where I currently practice. So I'm looking to move into it. It's an already existing building. So the space already exists. I'm just trying to move into it, and right now it's not an approved. So there's minimal changes that would be needed to the outside. There's already a parking lot that is big enough for both my staff, which consists of myself and 2 people, and then any patients that would be there at no given time, as there usually more than 6 or 7 people. At most, there would be 10 people there, and I think the parking lot, about 80. So there'd be plenty of space for it. And it's already in an area with a lot of businesses, so I think we would fit well there. Just trying to get there.
Thank you.
I can wait till the end of public comment on this if needed.
All right, so the hearing is open. If there's anybody here wishing to speak on this. Seeing none, we'll close that hearing. Mr. Leon?
So I travel to this area about 2 or 3 times a week. 2 doors down is Glencastle Irish Dancers, where 2 of my kids and my wife are all there. It seems like a very similar activity. I mean, I understand yours is a medical service and this is different, but I guess to staff, why do we need to make an exception here? And more importantly, as part of our UDO task force for a rewrite, is this something that can be eliminated so that we don't have to have a change to the text amendment and a special use permit moving forward with these types of requests?
So this is an area, and this has actually come up many times over the years in the past along Forest Home Avenue. The city has buildings that are really office spaces. I know previously staff and the city approved a more mass text amendment to actually change a lot of office uses to allow them in the M1 district because of situations like this on Forest Home Avenue where there's office buildings that a lot of office uses are not listed are allowed in the M1 district. So I think you can certainly make the case that having office-type uses in an M1 district, a lot of M1 uses are going to have a portion being office. So it's really, I think, a fit, and it doesn't have any adverse impacts, and they're compatible, they can work together. So from a use standpoint, I don't see much of an issue, but I think you're right that as part of the zoning code changes, however that plays out, I think the city and staff, should and will likely look into areas like this where there are buildings that are really built to, for uses that may not be allowed in, and call it correction or, an update could be made.
Thank you.
Any further comments from anyone here on the commission? Okay. Can you move forward to the motion, please?
A motion to recommend approval of an ordinance to amend the Unified Development Ordinance
We
text
closed it.
at table 15.30603, the standard industrial classification title number 8041, offices and clinics of chiropractors, to allow such use as a special use in the N1 Limited Industrial District. Elia Glender, Glender Family Chiropractic, applicant, ACG Acquisitions, number 10, LLC, DBA, Anderson Commercial, ERP, property owner.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Moving up to item 4, C4. I'll read the description. Glander Family Chiropractic Special Use. Request for approval of a special use to allow for a chiropractic office and services businesses use upon property located at 11217 West Forest Home Avenue. Tax key number 748-9961-001.
As mentioned, this is related to the previous item. This is a public hearing as well. It's the actual special use that would allow Elia Glander, or the Glander Family Chiropractic Office, to locate within this building. It's about a 2,000 square foot tenant space. Staff would agree with the applicant. Parking doesn't appear to be an issue or concern at this location. They're not making any exterior building or site changes, so it's literally just the office type use locating within the building. And I can read the notice. Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. The Common Council Chambers of the Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. By Elia Glander, Glander Family Chiropractic, located at 11217 West Forest Home Avenue, Unit 3, property zoned M1 Lebanon Industrial District, tax key number 748-9961-001, for an application for special use to allow for a chiropractic office use to locate and operate within Unit 3 of the building located at 11217 West Forest Home Avenue. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements and standards of section 15-3.0701, general standards for special uses, section 15-3.0703, detailed standards for special uses, non-residential districts, and 15-9.0103, applications for special use permit of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. A copy of the proposed special use resolution in draft form is available and open for inspection by the public in the office of the city clerk at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132, during normal business hours. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft form resolution is subject to revisions following public hearing and further consideration by the Plan Commission and the City of Franklin Common Council.
Thank you. So we'll open the public hearing at this time. Anybody wishing to speak on this item, please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, close the hearing. Any further comments right now from commission members? Mr. Leon?
Just the same comment to staff that in the rewrite to remove this type of thing for our review as well.
Okay. Could you please read the motion?
A special use. A motion to recommend approval of a resolution imposing conditions and restrictions for a special use for a chiropractic office and services business use upon property located at 11217 West Forest Home Avenue by Elia Glender, Glender Family Chiropractic, applicant ACG Acquisitions Number 10, LLC DBA Anderson Commercial GRP property owner.
So moved.
Second. We got a first and a second. See no further discussion. All is in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Moving on to C5. I'll read the description. Boomtown Special Use Amendment, request to amend a previously approved special use permit from 13 two-family homes to 13 single-family homes upon property located at 12000 West Loomis Road, tax key number 891-9011-000.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, this is a special use amendment to basically revise the previous approval that was for 26 dwelling units arranged into 13 duplex structures to basically change it to 13 single-family detached dwelling units. In the report, you will see the background of previous approvals of the Woodfield Trail condominium back from 2021 with a certified survey map, then a variance and natural resources special exception, then the special use permit for duplex structures and the condominium plat and the site plan. So this request is only changing the use from two-family to single-family. Is not changing the site plan at all. You can see
Much better.
the building pads that were approved will remain the same dimensions. It will only go to 2 units to 1 unit per building pad. So there is no revisions required to the site plan. And in the staff reports, you will find the general standards for special uses. Staff review all these standards. We don't anticipate any changes or impact to compliance with these standards. So staff recommending approval of the special use amendment. And you will see at your seat, there is a resolution with technical corrections. You will see the corrections underlined. So that there's no substantive changes, only technical.
And I'm sorry, you said the corrections were underlined, correct, sir?
Correct.
Thank you. I saw those. If you want to read the hearing notice or please.
Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Common Council Chambers at Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. Applicant is Boomtown LLC, subject property 12000 West Loomis Road, tax key number 891-9011-000. The proposal is a special use amendment to allow for a condominium development consisting of 13 single-family dwellings. A previous special use permit was granted for 26 dwelling units arranged in 13 duplex structures. Resolution 2022-7873. This public hearing is held pursuant to the requirements and standards of Section 15.3.0701, General Standards for Special Uses, and 15.9.0103, Applications for a Special Use Permit of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. A map showing the property affected, full legal description, the application, all supporting materials, and the special use resolution are available for review and may be obtained from the Department of City Development at Franklin City Hall. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft form resolution is subject to revisions following public hearing and further consideration by the Plan Commission and the City of Franklin Common Council.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. No, they just made the notice. Is the applicant here?
Dan Shop with Bear Development, 4011 80th Street, Kenosha. I have nothing
evening.
to add. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Alderwoman Day.
My question is just regarding the comments from the fire department. 1 and 2 sort of go with number 3. So we know that this particular area is a little bit outside of our fire department range right now for their standard response times. So their concerns were the satisfactory water supply and the road constructed so that the fire department could get in easy access. I just want to make sure that those 2 things are specifically addressed in knowing that the response time for right now would be a little bit longer to get there. So it is important that they have easy access and adequate water supply.
Okay, I'm aware of the comments. I'm not sure I can address them. As far as its locational matter, I think the same comments showed up on on the original development, and probably the same thing with Cape Crossing. So we're aware of the comments.
Okay.
Mr. City Engineer.
So I'll help answer that, and I got a few questions of my own. So keep in mind that we do have Cape Crossing across the street with multiple, since the original comments, since your original project came through with the condos, we now have water main going all the way out Ryan Road to feed not only this development, but the development across the street. So I would suggest to you that the water comment is probably no longer applicable. Fire department comment, I think they put that.
This is our standard.
I think that's their standard. So, so having said that, I guess I'm okay with those comments, if that's worth anything. Question I had for you, I've been out several times to look at the subdivision going in across the road. Every time I go past your project, there's excavators out there digging or so forth. And I was hoping to get out there today, and I wasn't able to. Where exactly are you on the construction of the utilities and roadway and so forth?
So all the site improvements are complete. Public improvements.
Okay.
Sewer, water, storm, sidewalk, curb, gutter, pavement, grading, ponds.
And for the sanitary and water, did each condo unit receive its own lateral? Or did you stub up one service for the
There-
building?
Shared lateral for sanitary, separate services for water.
So my staff didn't have any comments, but I would like to add a comment that with the understanding that you have to go back in and cut out and remove those extra pieces, extra laterals. Because the more taps we have on the sewer, the more taps we have on the water main, and if they're never going to be used, we'd like to cap them off in the beginning and just know that they're not there. We don't have to babysit and think about dead laterals forever and ever.
I don't think we would have any dead laterals.
I think you just said that had a shared sewer.
Shared sewer.
So that one would be fine, but if you have 2 taps on the water main, you've got a corp stop that would have to be nice to,
But there'd be separate meters for each. Oh, I see what you're saying. I think we changed that, Glenn.
did you tap the water main once or twice for each building pad?
Let me check the construction notes, but we had anticipated this. I believe that there's only
Okay.
one.
If you only tap the main once, I'm okay, but if you tap the main twice, I want you to dig up
Okay,
one of them.
I'll definitely look into that, but I think we addressed that early on. We
Okay.
actually had the plans reviewed prior.
And just refresh my memory, this didn't say so, but that is a public right-of-way with the
Correct.
condos, so we're still a public right-of-way
Correct.
and setbacks are still the same. Okay.
Any other commission questions?
I'll wait till after public comment.
Staff, any further? Any further questions from the staff? None? Okay, at this time, we'll open the public hearing. Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item, please come to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record. Hearing's now open. See no one, hearing's now closed. Commissioner Leone?
So a couple of things for staff. I see this is shown as approved by BZBA in January of 2022. It's almost 2 years ago. Doesn't feel like that long ago. Is that a misprint there?
No, it was,
And is this going to have, my real question is this going to have to go back to BZBA next week? Or is it?
no,
just-
no.
Okay.
The variance was already approved, and then the site plan was approved,
Okay.
and now this, the special use is being amended.
Okay. But BZBA won't have to weigh in again? Okay.
No, it's already approved by
Okay.
BZBA.
And then to Alderwoman Day's comment, I see comment number 3 from the fire department, and just, really when the assistant chief was in here, assistant chief mayor, on a separate project several months ago, pointed out that single-family residents actually have more calls on EMS than multifamily, right? So and I think it's further justification that down the road, we're going to have more fire department services with projects like these. So just a comment to pay attention to those, because we're going to need additional resources to provide EMS services. But
I believe it was just the opposite he was talking about. Multifamily unit dwellings, I thought that were 7 times greater than single-family unit dwellings, but it doesn't matter at this point. We'll get clarification for the future. Any further questions or comments right now, commission members? Would you please read the motion?
Special use amendment. A motion to recommend approval of a resolution to amend resolution number 2022-7873, imposing conditions and restrictions for the approval of a special use for a condominium complex development use of a property located at 12000 West Loomis Road. Stephen R. Mills, President of Bird Development LLC, applicant, Boomtown LLC, property owner.
so moved.
Mr. City Attorney?
With the understanding that it's in form of the resolution as provided to the plan commissioners at this meeting.
Oh, yeah. Still moved. So moved.
So we got a first?
Second.
We have a second. Further discussion, Mr. City Engineer?
I would love to add the additional verbiage, or at least a conversation about ensuring that there's only one service per utility on the, and if we can make that friendly amendment, I would be supportive.
I'm amenable to that.
Okay, that still remains on the first and the second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Moving on to item number 6. I'll read the description. Mr. Green's Barbecue Special Use, request for approval of a special use to allow for an approximately 440 square foot meat smoker enclosure and overnight parking for a food truck located at 7740 South Lovers Lane Road, Suite 400, tax key number 794-9001-000.
All right, so this is for Mr. Green's Barbecue Cafe. They've actually already started serving because we've been a little slow to get this processed, but
I've noticed that on Facebook. Been
yep.
doing it. People are loving it. Great.
All right, so this is for a enclosure. There's already a previously approved outdoor seating area. That's the circle there, but then just to the north of it, they propose putting a similar enclosure to the trash enclosure on the other side of the property to enclose their 2 smoking trailers. And then, okay. What is this?
Alexia pointed.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That thing. And then also they need approval for their overnight parking of their food truck, which is, as you can see right there. Yeah, that's it.
Can't hear you. What?
That's all I have.
That's it?
Yep.
Get excited. It's a good thing. All right. Department, and you want to read the notice?
Yes, I can. So, notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Common Council Chambers at the City of Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. Applicant is Mr. Thomas Green Jr. from Mr. Green's Barbecue. Subject property is 7740 South Lovers Lane, Suite 400 in the Civic Center District. It is an application for a special use to allow for an enclosure for 2 meat smokers and an overnight parking for a food truck for a property located in the Civic Center zoning district. Eating places without drive-through facilities are permitted use in the Civic Center district, but the smoker enclosure is an accessory to that use but may impact surrounding properties, so that's why we require the special use. Overnight parking is also an accessory use, but it does need approval from the Plan Commission. The public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements and standards of Section 15-30701, General Standards for Special Uses, Section 15-30703, Detailed Standards for Special Uses in non-residential districts, and Section 15-90103, Applications for Special Use Permit of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. A copy of the proposed special use resolution in draft form and the applicant's application submittal is available for inspection by the public in the Department of City Development, Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132, during normal business hours. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft form resolution is subject to revisions following public hearing and the further consideration by the Common Council and the City of Franklin Common Council.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? And would wish to come to the podium and welcome. Just state your name and business address is fine for the record.
Thomas Green Jr., 7740 South Lovers Lane Road, Franklin, Wisconsin.
Excellent. Anything you wish to add to this tonight so far?
Not at the moment. Ready for questions?
Okay.
I defer to that, Alderman.
Alderwoman Day.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions for staff that I think are going to clear up my overall questions. The food truck is currently parked there right now, and it appeared that it was operational when I was in the area the other day, and normally would not have thought anything of it had I not, just read this, about an hour ahead of time. I spoke with the health department, and Angie Byers said that there was a temporary use or temporary approval for the food truck to get through this
Yes, so
here. So, and then were they using the smoker on the food truck to double for not having the actual smoker approved and in place yet?
yes, so staff approved that.
Okay.
Mr. Green applied for this in August,
Yes.
and as you have heard of our department's
yep.
struggles, so it's taken us a while to get there, so they applied for the temporary use so
sure.
that they could have their start before today.
Yep. I'm just trying to put all the pieces together and, so nothing on you guys for not being able to get this through faster. I'm just trying to put all the pieces together. And then I noticed, again, the planned operated hours for the smoker will be 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. But again, wouldn't have noticed had I not just read the packet. I was at Target and it was about 4:30 p.m. and it looked like it was still going. So I want to make sure that we have the right hours. To me, it doesn't matter when you're doing it. I just want to make sure that the hours in the application match the hours that you're going to be operational. So it's just a clerical fix.
Yes, ma'am. And I'll make sure that my team knows to close the smoke chamber.
Yeah, it's just a clerical thing. I just want to make sure that it matches. I don't want you to get phone calls saying, we saw that it was supposed to stop at 2 and it's 4 o'clock. So just want to make it match for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Make your life easier.
Mr. City Engineer?
So you're open for dinner, right?
Yes.
So why would you stop everything at 2 o'clock?
So we got to watch budget for right now. So we're smoke early in the morning and prepare for much to get us throughout the day. So even as of now, we're setting out close to around 3 or 4 o'clock. So with the remaining items that we have to be able to be successful, we want to kind of gauge how much we're actually cooking and how much we're putting out.
So assuming you're successful, shouldn't you ask for longer hours to smoke?
Yes, I will. But at the time, I don't want to disappoint our customers. I do competition barbecue and things such as that. So I want to be able to be successful. So I don't want to give her the wrong time of cooking right away.
So what I think the old woman's saying is, in the future, we anticipate you're going to need to operate longer.
A bit longer.
So why not now, instead of asking for 2 o'clock, let's ask for 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock as appropriate.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to ask for more hours if that makes sense.
And you don't have to, then you
Yeah,
don't
come
have to
back.
come back, yeah, and
Right.
prolong anything.
You don't want to come to these. These are terrible.
Like I said, just trying to make your life easier, because I know you've been waiting a while, so we want to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, if we can push it to 5 or 6 o'clock, that'd be nice.
So, yeah, I think we'd like to hear from you what is the ideal in the future?
6?
Yeah.
6?
So 6
Okay.
p.m.
So let's amend that to 6. And just a general comment, these are really hard to approve if you don't sample your wares, and we know you're worthy of coming into our community.
Mr. Leon?
Well, on that note, I did sample last night. My family and I are fans. I am one of the many Facebook posters, and it was very good barbecue, so thank you for that.
Great.
So I do understand that this is going to be amended to show until 6 p.m. correctly. The only question I have, I can't remember, what's the restaurant that's going up immediately to the west? We approved it probably 3 months ago.
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen, thank you. I had the coffee place.
I think the gentleman's here too.
Good, that's perfect. I assume there are no issues, because that will be a drive-through facility. I know some of the language talked about not for drive-through. I was there last night. I know where it's set up. There's going to be smoking going on, but I don't think that will impact the Dairy Queen at all. I just wanted to make sure that applicant for a separate application is aware and didn't bring any issues to the staff. Is that accurate? And if that applicant's here, then just want to make sure there's no problem with it.
Right.
Oh, during public comment, okay,
You got that
perfect.
right. Mr. Haley?
Thank you. An operational question. It appears from the drawings that these smokers are actually on trailers, that they're trailer mounted and then put inside the enclosure.
Yes.
Is it safe to assume that they don't come out of there unless they need service? You're not in and out on a daily basis?
Correct.
Great, because that would have severe ramifications for your seating area.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Schago?
I want to compliment your son for sitting through this so long, paying attention. And everybody's excited about this project. I just had one quick question. The smokers are going to be in a trash-type enclosure, right? Where is the trash going to be, and is there a closure for that?
For the trash? Well, we utilize the trash, well, that's outside in the smoker, you mean, as far as in that area? We shouldn't be dumping trash in that area. Everything should be coming in fresh directly to the smoker and back inside the building.
Okay, when you generate trash out of the kitchen and from the truck, where will your garbage containers be?
We already use the same one that's there, that's present. That's
Okay.
where we use the trash, and we take it out the back around. That's where we
Okay,
take
and
our
there'll be good truck access for that to dump the garbage container? Okay, all right, very good.
Okay, so at this point, read the public hearing.
I've read the public hearing already.
We're good? All right. Okay, at this point, we're open up the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on this, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Douglas Van Gimmert, 10246 West Deerwood Lane. Where is the 7700 block? I can't read that from over there. Can somebody indicate to me exactly where 7730 South Lovers Lane Road is?
Across from Target.
Well, that doesn't help me. I can't see it from here.
It's across from Target, sir.
Well, it's in Target?
West.
Across in the other facility across the way near, is it on the other, it's at okay. Off of Drexel, that one. Because I know there's two, and then there's a street, and then you got another one on the east side. Is it on the east or?
It would look like it's on Drexel, but it has a Lover's Lane address, but it
Okay.
look like it's should be addressed off Drexel.
So it's in that area there. That's all I want to know, because I haven't seen it yet. I haven't been over there.
Smell it.
So I just want to know where 7700 block was. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak on this?
Dharmesh Kalani, 7730 South Lovers Lane Road. As probably a lot of you might know, I'll be the new owner of the Dairy Queen, and we are building a 3-tenant facility right next to the Mr. Green barbecue place. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Mr. Green, try to be a good neighbor. Just have a couple concern about the new development that we are planning, and we are in the process of submitting the plan to the city. It's a 3-tenant, it's a drive-through building, which is pretty much will be very close to that new closure that's going in place. And plus, right in between, like right next door, pretty much, we are trying to bring another restaurant. So there's a Dairy Queen, the middle part, it would be possibly a liquor store, depending on how the next thing goes in the process. And the third one would be another restaurant. The restaurant we're trying to bring would be possibly all vegetarian. It's called Honest. It's a franchisee restaurant, but it's a vegetarian restaurant. We are also planning outdoor patio seating. I don't mind having them cooking all that meat, but right next to where my future tenant would be eating and having them vegetarian, I don't know how will they like that. So unfortunately, as much as I like to them be successful as our neighbor, there is a way to do that somewhere like in the back so we can have the lesser impact if it's possible. I'm not sure if it's doable or not, but that's the only concern I had.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak on this? We'll close the hearing at this time. Further comments from staff? Mr. Leon.
So, thank you, sir, for bringing up those points. Understanding you're looking at expanding in that same area, and I'll defer to staff on this. I don't think it would be feasible to move this behind the building, which would be right on Drexel with, I don't think that's a feasible option. So understanding your concerns, I don't have objections to this based on that. I think it still makes sense to do. And yeah, there's going to be vegetarian eaters who are going to smell the barbecue going. Honestly, even if it were still indoors, the door opens and closes quite a bit. So I personally still think it's appropriate for this property.
Mr. Morrow.
I guess that would have been a question for the Target complex, because they can, have those kinds of discussions like businesses and so forth. So I don't necessarily think that's our decision. I think that would have been part of Target's issue.
Any further comment or discussion at this time? Is there a motion on this?
Mr. Green's Barbecue, special use. A motion to recommend approval of a resolution imposing conditions and restrictions for a special use to allow for an approximate 440 square foot meat smoker enclosure and overnight parking for a food truck located at 7740 South Lovers Lane, Suite 400, Thomas Green Jr., Mr. Green's Barbecue, applicant, Franklin Winhan LLC, property owner, with revisions to the hours of operation from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Oh.
I just have one point of clarification again, because I don't have I haven't seen the temporary food truck permit. I just want to make sure that it is allowed all the way through till when he has his permanent smokers in place. I just want to make sure that, again, the dates on his temporary for using his food truck for doing the smoking go past today. Because obviously he's not going to have his smokers, up and running tomorrow. So I just want to make sure that he's covered in the interim until the permanent smokers get there.
Yes, he is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion. Is there a second?
I don't think we actually got a motion, so I'll move now.
Okay.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Going on to C7, AK Developers LLC special use, request for approval of a special use to allow for an approximately 3,500 square foot liquor, tobacco, and miscellaneous retail sale use located at 7730 South Lovers Lane Road, Suite 200, tax key number 794-999-007, 007. Mr. Fuchs.
I think if staff wants to start, and again, just for,
Ooh, I didn't, oh, K for Kissel. There we go.
Yeah, so this is just next door to what we just talked about. They are applying for a special use for a liquor store, tobacco store, or miscellaneous retail stores, anticipating it all to be in the central tenant space. As you can see, there's the Dairy Queen to, I have this now. This is where the Dairy Queen is. This is where they anticipate the tenant to go. It is a special use, and they propose operating no later than 9 p.m.
Thank you. Could you please read the notice?
All right. Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. in Common Council Chambers at the City of Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. Applicant is Dharmesh Galani, AK Developers, LLC. Subject property is 7730 South Lovers Lane Road, Suite 200, Civic Center District. It's an application for a special use to allow for a liquor, tobacco, and miscellaneous retail sales use. These uses are classified under the Standard Industrial Classification Title Numbers 5921, 5993, and 5999, respectively. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements and standards of Section 15-3.0701, General Standards for Special Uses, Section 15-3.0703, Detailed Standards for Special Uses in Non-Residential Districts, and Section 15-9030103, Applications for a Special Use Permit of the City of Franklin Unified Development City Ordinance. A copy of the proposed special use resolution in draft form and the applicant's application submittal is available for inspection by the public in the Department of City Development, Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132 during normal business hours. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft form resolution is subject to revisions following public hearing and further consideration by the Plan Commission and the City of Franklin Common Council.
Thank you. Is the applicant here?
so just so the Plan Commission is aware, and so there's no confusion, Dev is a client of mine before being hired on as staff to Franklin. So I am seeing this project out with him. So I'll be representing this project, this special use, and then the site plan moving forward.
Right. I was gonna have fun with this. I was gonna say, so who are you, sir?
Work address?
Nick Fuchs.
Work address?
2000 Fairhaven Boulevard, Elm Grove, Wisconsin, 53122. So as was stated, this is a special use application for primarily liquor store. We're anticipating about 70% of the sales to be from liquor sales, anticipating 3 employees and operating between 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's a site plan in the packet as well that shows significant parking, considering Dairy Queen a future restaurant, this use. We are meeting UDO parking standards, lighting, signage, landscaping, really everything else with the development is consistent with the Shops at Wyndham Village. So as a retail use, we find it's consistent, compatible with the existing uses of the Shops at Wyndham Village, and we are not objecting to any of the recommended conditions of approval.
Okay. Thank you. Question of the commission at this time. Mr. Leon.
No question, really, but personally, I find smoked barbecue better smelling than tobacco smoke, but I still don't object to this. I agree that it's a good use of the property, and hopefully we can find a good compromise with you and your neighbor who's got the approved smoker now. That's all.
I can tell you that most of my client won't be smoking there, though.
Good,
Hopefully it's
good.
somewhere else.
Good point. Anyone else at the commission at this point? Okay, we will now open up the public hearing. Got the notice read? It's all read, so we can open up. All right, open public hearing at this time. Anybody wishing to speak on this, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one, close the public hearing. Any other comments from commission? Could you read the motion, please?
AK Developers, Inc., special use. A motion to recommend approval of a resolution imposing conditions and restrictions for a special use to allow for an approximated 3,500 square foot liquor, tobacco, and miscellaneous retail use located at 7730 South Lovers Lane Road, Suite 200, Dharmech Gilani, AK Developers, applicant, Franklin Winhan LLC, property owner.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. We have further discussion from our city engineer.
It just occurred to me, we do have an ordinance that we adopted a year or so ago about vaping. Or we talked about it but never did it. So this, when you say tobacco, this does not include vaping, correct?
Well, you can sell it, you just can't.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
When you say tobacco shop, does this include vaping accessories?
We were thinking of it, but if there is any issue, then if there is a way to do it, yes. But if you think that's not a good idea, that's law prohibits, then we won't do that.
Well, this question to city attorney, did we ever, yeah.
Place.
Yeah, I'm not sure though.
I
know
think
in
we
schools
talked,
you can.
I think we talked about an ordinance about selling vaping. Yeah, I don't recall.
There's one prohibited. Not the sale, I don't know
So-
about the sale.
I don't think it'd be applicable right now.
Yeah, not applicable, sorry.
Okay, so we got a first. Did we have a second on that?
We did.
Okay, first and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Going on to C8, On Cloud Wine Special Use. Request for approval of a special use to allow for a wine bar in the multi-tenant retail building located in the PDD 26 zoning district, located at 10064 West Loomis Road, tax key number 8410073-000.
All right, so this is a special use. This is a wine bar is classified as a drinking place, so that is a special use because PDD 26 uses the B3 uses, so that's how that gets in there. It is in this section of the multi-tenant building in the PDD. Randy has a winery farther out in the state, and he wants to sell the wine here because I guess it gets, according to him, it gets cold, and so people don't want to drink wine when it's cold outside. I understand. Yeah, they propose. Oh, sorry. Our recommendation is that we limit operating hours to no later than 10 p.m. Wednesdays through Saturdays.
Okay, let's read the notice.
The public hearing notice?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Notice of public hearing, City of Franklin Plan Commission, Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Common Council Chambers at the City of Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132. Randy Larson, On Cloud Wine, 10064 West Loomis Road. It's in PDD 26, Deerwood, Wood Lake, Towering Oaks. It's an application for a special use to allow for a wine bar. Wine bars are classified as drinking places without drive-through facilities under Standard Industrial Classification, Title Number 5813. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements and standards of Section 15-3-0701, General Standards for Special Uses, Section 15-3-0703, detailed standards for special uses in non-residential districts, and Section 15-90103, applications for special use permit of the City of Franklin Unified Development Ordinance. A copy of the proposed special use resolution in draft form and the applicant's application submittal is available for inspection by the public in the Department of City Development, City of Franklin City Hall, 9229 West Loomis Road, Franklin, Wisconsin, 53132, during normal business hours. The public is invited to attend the public hearing and to provide input. The proposed draft form resolution is subject to revision following public hearing and the further consideration by the Plan Commission and the City of Franklin Common Council.
Thank you. Is the applicant here? Good evening.
Evening. My name is Randy Larson. Address is 22200 West 6 Mile Road in the town of Norway.
Thank you. Anything to add to the?
Yes, in my narrative, I had requested to be open Wednesday through Saturday and have Sundays open for special events. At the Vineyard and Winery now, we have some special events like Sip and Paint and Sip and Clay, pottery making events. And we also want to have our Sundays open where we could have a bridal party or birthday parties or something like that. So even though she said it was Wednesday through Saturday, I did request to be open for special events on Sunday. I currently own Spirits of Norway Vineyard and Winery. And like a lot of outdoor facilities such as orchards and pumpkin farms, we got a lot of people that want to come out April through October. After we harvest in the fall, there's not much to see anymore. So our reservations and everything drop off. So our whole intent is to have a upscale wine bar so that we have steady income 52 weeks around the year instead of just good income from April through October like we have at the winery and vineyard now.
And the hours of operation, 10 p.m. shutdown time is not going to be a problem?
Not a problem at all. It'll be Wednesday through Friday, 9 p.m. Saturdays we're allowed to be open till 10 p.m.
Sure. All right. Alderman Day?
I just have one question about your Sunday events. Would you be amicable to changing this to say that hours of operation would be till 9 p.m. on no later than 9 p.m. on Sunday as well, or just to put something in there?
Put some more hours in there, absolutely. I would say 9 p.m. I don't think we can be open till 10 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
Only Saturday.
I just noticed that the hours here, as you said, were Wednesday and Saturday, but I did see your Sunday comment further in the packet. So if we could just put the day and the hours in there as well.
Any other comments from commission members at this time? Staff? Thank you. We'll now open up the public hearing. Public hearing is now open. Anybody wishing to speak on this matter, please come to the podium, state your name and address clearly for the record. Seeing no one, public hearing is now closed. Any further discussion at this time? We have the motion, please.
On Cloud Wine, special use, a motion to recommend approval of a resolution imposing conditions and restrictions for a special use to allow for a wine bar in the multi-tenant retail building located in the PDD 26 zoning districts, located at 10064 West Loomis Road. Randy Larson, on Cloud Wine applicant, Park Place Holdings property owner, with hours of operation
No later than 10 p.m. Wednesdays through Saturdays, and open for special events on Sunday no later than 9 p.m.
Do we motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Congratulations, welcome. Moving on to item D, business matters. Master Helco site plan amendment, request for approval of various site modifications, including but not limited to construction of a 28-stall parking lot, installation of new building and parking lot lighting, adding new landscape plantings, and construction of a stormwater management pond upon property located at 7407 South 27th Street. Tax key number 761-9994-006. Mr. Fuchs.
As was briefly mentioned earlier, as this is related to the special use under item C2, these are proposed site plan changes for Master Helco. They're looking to paint the building, add a new 27-cell parking lot in the front adjacent to 27th Street, adding new landscaping, building lighting for the main building and those buildings behind it to the west, adding a stormwater pond, and then the additional crushed gravel and concrete for the outdoor storage use. They are meeting the minimum LSR standard and the other B4 district development standards. The site plan, recommended site plan conditions are the standard engineering conditions for final grading, erosion control, and stormwater management plans to be approved prior to any land disturbance activities. And then also, staff's recommending the parking spaces be a minimum 9 feet wide and 180 square feet. That condition does need to be added in the resolution if the Plan Commission wishes to have that as a condition. I will note in the past, I'm aware that the essentially would be a 9 foot wide by 20 foot in length parking space has been reduced by 1.5 feet, 2 feet, just based on the overhang over the curb. So if it's abutting a curb, I know projects have been approved with that consideration. So that one's up to the Plan Commission.
Comments? Mr. Morrow.
So I'm going to speculate that the Alderwoman's objection may be fencing.
Yes.
So I guess I would say that the previous person, previous company predates the apartment complex, but we are extending it further to the west. So I can appreciate the comment that would an opaque slats be amiable to?
I would like something that is opaque, yes.
Love opaque. And since this is a fencing company, I assume you have access to an opaque fencing product.
Please.
I can't speak for Master Helco directly on that matter. I would assume they have that product available and they would be amenable to that condition if required. Additionally, there is heavy landscaping to the north of the existing fencing along that apartment complex that already screens the fencing and the storage, outdoor storage to the south of your apartment complex.
So should this be approved, I would suggest that an amendment that we included requirement that it be opaque fencing and still the 6 foot. It's the same height is acceptable, but just make it opaque.
I would be okay with that.
Okay.
And you're saying privacy slats would meet that on the existing fencing?
Do we need to suspend
Dick
rules
Platt.
on this? Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Dick Platt, I'm the owner of Platt Construction and the property at 7407 South 27th Street. The north side of that property, where the fence is, there's 20 foot. Initially, we had to set our fence back 20 foot. 25 on that side? 25 feet. And there's much vegetation in between. And when the apartments were built, should have been redone a little bit, but the excavation is there. But you're asking for an opaque, you can't even see through the woods. It's all dense, I mean, complete. Plus, you asked, when we built it initially, we had to put pine trees and all the trees all the way around the whole property. So earlier you were asked about somebody looking at
Do you have the aerial?
the outside yard. I mean, it was originally taken up when I initially built this place, where there was space to make sure that it was blinded from the outside source. So now if you want to do an opaque fence, does not really make sense unless you're on the inside looking out, because the wood's it's so dense. So.
Alderwoman, what are your thoughts on that?
As I said, I'm one vote and one opinion. That is just what I have received a few calls about from folks that live in my district. So I am just relaying that concern forward from individuals from my district.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Leon, did you have something on that?
I didn't realize that that was the applicant, so I thought we had to suspend rules for public comments. So I'm
Okay,
good.
so that was
Thank
it.
you for clarifying.
All right. Mr. Haley?
Just clarification on our terminology. Opaque would imply solid. There isn't really an opaque fence. Slats are one thing, on board are ways of doing it, but opaque would be solid.
I guess when I said opaque, I was thinking you couldn't see through it, so slats are typically.
But you can still see through that. I don't want to get into a situation over semantics here. There isn't any such thing as an opaque fence. Except maybe the military instance.
Privacy fence?
Privacy, that's it. Privacy slats.
Okay.
Board on board, just so we're all expecting the same thing here.
Okay. Moving forward, do you read the motion, please?
Master Halco Site Plan Amendment. A motion to approve a resolution approving a site plan amendment for the development of a Master Halco sales branch of a property located at 7407 South 27th Street. Master Halco Inc. applicant, Plat Construction, property owner. Any language on the fencing?
I don't see a need to attach either of those, the staff recommendation or the alder, so I won't make the motion in case someone else wants to with those requirements. But if I make the motion, it's going to be without those amendments.
I guess I still didn't get my question answered. So maybe on the north side, there's 25 foot. What about the south side behind the building? I guess that'd be a building, but when you go further.
All the way around.
All the way around, there's a good 20 to 25 foot of heavy vegetation.
Trees that we had back 30 years ago.
And none of those are buckthorn. And none of those are buckthorn? Just making sure. Yeah, all right.
Engineering humor.
I just looked at a Google view of it while we were discussing, and I see exactly what the applicant's talking about. That's why I
Thank
would
you,
not
Mr.
add the
Platt.
amendment.
Okay.
So can we re-entertain a motion now?
Then I would make the motion without either of the recommended amendments. So that's my motion.
So the motion as presented.
Yes.
It's a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
We got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Shago.
Aye.
Commissioner Haley.
Aye.
City Engineer Morrow.
Aye.
Alderwoman Day.
No.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 no, 1 absent. Motion carries. Moving on to item D2, Department of Public Works Site Plan Amendment. Request for approval of a site plan amendment to allow for redesign of the existing yard, including development of a new storage building and yard waste drop-off area on property located at 7979 West Ryan Road, tax key number 89699900001. Additionally, the applicant is requesting a determination from Plan Commission as to whether the proposed storage building may be considered a principal structure. This item was tabled at the November 9th, 2023 meeting to provide for a neighborhood meeting. Mr. City Engineer.
Okay. So this was, as you noted, that this item was tabled before. We were requested to talk to the neighbors. So let me address the comments that we heard at the beginning of the meeting. I mailed invitations to everyone in the, can't move the cursor for some reason. There you go.
Ooh.
So I mailed the invitation to everyone in Park Circle Condominium Associate. I can do it now. Thank you. I mailed an invitation to everyone between 76th Street and the DPW building. So the Hideaway and all the residences and the storage units, they all got an invitation. Zurin Building Products got an invitation, and I made sure that the school was aware of the situation too. So basically, I sent invitations to everyone in this who's adjacent to the DPW, plus even the lots in the condo association that were not. So it was stated we only had 3 people show up. We actually had 5 people show up, representing 3 different condos. Aside from offering barbecue and wine and smokes, I don't know what else I could have done to try to get people there. But we held the meeting at our DPW facility, so it was very convenient for them. It was on a Monday evening after Thanksgiving. Maybe they were rested out of town, I don't know. But we really tried to get our effort to have everyone there. We did start the meeting by talking with the fact that the city has owned this parcel for as long as at least I know of. I'm not sure when we actually purchased the property, but that was asked a question. And so I explained the situation of why the ball fields were there and why they're not there any longer. The city has always had intention of expanding our DPW facility. I pointed out, like I did at this meeting, that we made it very clear that the developer of Park Circle knew about this project, that we intended to expand it one day. And for whatever reason, the developer did not relay that information on to the people who purchased condos. So to help compensate for that, we actually were proposing a berm along the south edge, and we offered to vegetate as much as we could without crowding out other vegetation. And we talked about a fence. One of the requests that homeowners asked for, could we put the fence on top of the berm? They would rather see it on top of the berm than at the bottom of the berm. And so I think if we can possibly make that work, we will. Obviously, we have to get around the pond that's going to be down here and so forth. So we did discuss the parcel. We have a contact name for the homeowner association or condo association president. So when we start moving dirt again, we're going to notify them so when they see a dozer going, they know what's going on and so forth. So having said that, I do want to, in full disclosure, say that we opened bids and they were above budget. So they're correct. It's not in the 24 budget, but it is in the 23 budget. So we're talking with the finance director. We are still required to build a building of some sort because that's what we borrowed money for. And that's what we told the bond people we were borrowing the money for. So we have to figure out how to make that work. I will let you know that the favorite probably looks like we're probably going to extend the existing building that we have. It was actually made to be expanded. So we're working through with our architect. John Wallenkamp is here, our architect. And we think we can actually bring that in under budget. But I would still like to approve the site plan because there are other aspects that we'd like to approve. So we've got a pond, drainage pond that we need to have happen because I can't store any materials if I don't have a drainage pond to collect the sediment. There's the berm. I don't mind go ahead and starting the berm. We'll get that berm started. We'll go ahead and plant it. We'll go ahead and start trying to create, I want to say, an opaque vegetation, if that's okay.
Might as well use it.
As densely possible as we can possible to start that growth growing. And then there's still an option for the recycling center. Possibly, we could possibly do that. I have actually funds with the trash where we can help make that happen should Common Council decide that's what we want to do. As far as the building goes, it's probably not very likely that we'll put the building in. We will probably have to come back and talk about expanding the building, but I would still like to go ahead and approve the site plan because there are other components of the site plan that we would like to go ahead and get started on while we can. So as long as you understand that building that you see in the packet may or may not happen, probably not happen. As you see it, there's still other sites, still other items on the site plan that we'd like to show. And as I told the gentleman, I'll be more than happy to talk to him next week and explain the whole process. Some of the concerns that the neighbors had, you can read the memo in your packet. There's 12 things that I tried to specify everything that was talked about at the meeting. I'm not going to go through them here given the lateness of the meeting, but if you have any questions about anything, I'll be more than happy to try to answer.
Any comments on this right now from other commission members, council? Mr. Haley.
Question, if you can, city engineer, please shine a little more light on the issue with Park Circle Drive extension. With an eventual South 80th Street, I know where it is, but
Yeah.
what's being proposed, will that happen? How is that being resolved at this
So-
point in time?
Yeah, so when Park Circle was designed, the idea was that someday 80th Street would likely go through all the way to Oakwood Road. So talking with the school, there's even the site plan that they had done even a year ago, they pretty much put in the trash and they're starting over. It's quite possible that there may be a school or something here and the road would possibly go all the way through. I still want to leave this option open, so this could happen. The residents ask if we block that and make sure that nothing could ever connect to it, and my response was that's why it's there. So someday something could construct to it. We'll have to weigh that with the site plan in the future. But no need to cut off our options now for when we don't know what the school is going to do. I can see a scenario where maybe the school might have, a fairly major drive-through, and it would be very handy to make that connection. That's why that connection is there.
And so there is dedicated street right away that goes all the way through that development to the south.
Correct, and you can actually see the edge of it right here. It
So
actually
it
goes all the
doesn't
way.
continue further south, the development.
Well, they donated half the right-of-way for 80th Street for this development. You can see it right here. But does that answer your question?
Yes, then the other question, maybe you can shed a little bit of light on sanitary sewer from southeast corner was discussed. You served the new storage building. What are we talking about there?
So the sanitary sewer that serves this area here has a sewer stub that comes up along this property line here. We talked about, even if I don't build a building, it would be nice to go ahead and take the sanitary sewer up. That way we could serve the Hideaway, which spends like 60 grand every time they have to redo their mound system. And these other residents may or may not appreciate having that sewer back there someday that they could connect to.
So in a perfect world, it would extend all the way up from the southeast corner to Ryan Road?
No, it would not go up that far, but
Just
it would go up to about right here, yeah. There is a discussion of sanitary sewer with the Carmex site that would extend down here, and we're still talking about how to serve the DPW site. I'm spending $175 at least once, if not twice a week, to pump a tank, and that would pay for a sanitary sewer extension. One discussion has been maybe come out of that, run south and tie in right here, because there's also a sewer stub right here. So
The intent is to try and loop those where you can.
well, you don't loop sanitary sewer. You loop a water main, but not the sanitary sewer.
Okay, and so you're asking us to approve the site plan, even though we know it's going to change again. It's not just you, but we keep getting into this. You'll
So-
be back here because undoubtedly something will
We're
change.
going to have, so I can't imagine that unless we can find additional funds that we're willing to spend to make the building work, I would suggest to you that the more likely scenario is that we'll probably just extend the existing building, but I still want to build a berm, I still want to build a pond, I still want to possibly, do something here, down in here. So there's many aspects of the site plan that would probably still happen, it's just the building probably won't happen at this time.
And again, not to belabor the point, but the site plan will be changing, most likely.
Correct.
What you want to do is go ahead now and start installing some components of it as designed, but chances are you'll be back here asking for modifications to the
Yeah,
site plan.
because otherwise I'd have to turn around and resubmit something else, asking for a berm and asking for all those other things I plan to put in.
Want to be clear on it now.
Yep.
Mr. City Attorney.
But any changes that would be made would not make whatever you do now irrelevant.
Correct. I want to say if there's 10 components, I may only install 6 of them, but, yeah.
Good. Alderwoman Day.
I guess my question is the resolution that we'd be voting on in here for the site plan amendment, is that still current, or does it need to be revised with any of the pieces that you are or not moving forward with? I just want to make sure that we're,
So, to be fair, I'm not sure we're not moving forward. I'm just saying
Great.
it's
Okay.
unlikely. So
okay,
I would say that the resolution is okay.
you're good with it as is. Okay.
Mr. Leone.
Would just like to thank the city engineer and the alder for the area for going out and having this meeting and answering what questions were out there. Definitely feels like due diligence was done here, and the opportunity to get neighbors' perspectives. And I will add, during the time since we last met, I actually read a historical book on Franklin, one of those mostly photo. I was surprised that a prestigious alum of Franklin High School wasn't mentioned in there, but no, I digress. This clearly was designed for this purpose.
Yes,
So the residents who are to the south, when they were buying those condos, should have had full knowledge that this was happening. My biggest concern was what's in item 3 from the meeting that, and you addressed it last time, but I'm glad we took time to do this, and I'm comfortable moving forward at this point.
So a little clarification, I don't know, I can tell you that right now there's not multiple parcels. So maybe at one time they combine them, but I can tell you that the old city hall, old fire station, old garage goes back, several decades since probably the founding of Bad Axe is what they call it, right? That's what
Yeah,
I told.
right.
So,
Exactly what it is.
so back in that area. So I don't know if one time they owned this parcel and later they added this on, but there are not two parcels here. So they either combined them or it's always been that way. I did not do the research, but it's been long time.
For anybody who has the interest, you can get that book at the library. It's a quick, easy read. It'll take you a couple hours, and it talks about what was on that property years ago, clearly designed for this purpose.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there any other further discussion? If not, could you please read the?
Department of Public Works site plan amendment. A motion to adopt a resolution approving a site plan amendment for the development of a new storage facility and public drop-off area upon property located at 7979 West Ryan Road by City of Franklin, John Nelson, Mayor, and City of Franklin property owner.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a first and a second. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on the adjournment? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.
One absent.
Copy of that book isn't at the library now. I still have to